Call December the 14th Transportation Committee meeting to order. Mr. Secretary, let it be known that Councilman Kluwat, Joseph, and Chris Lohr is at work. Councilman Todd Lamb is going to lead us in the invocation, followed by the pledge.
Lord, thank you for allowing us to be here tonight and make decisions. Let us keep politics aside and make the best decisions for our citizens, and help the safety with our roads. May we find the fundings for a lot of the projects that we have, so we can move forward with it. Our parish has grown tremendously, and we need your help, Lord Jesus. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Anyone wishing to speak on any agenda item, please sign in with Ms. Liz. Moving to number 4, Road Department Monthly Report. Mr. Fairchild.
Since our last meeting, our roadside maintenance crews have cleaned 4 miles of roadside ditches. Our vacuum truck has cleaned 2 miles of culverts. Our grass cutting crews have cut 48 miles of state roads, 143 miles of parish roads, and our last day of cutting was the 11th month, the 18th. So we've discontinued and we're on our winter mode. We sprayed 14 miles of state road and 91 miles of parish roads. And we discontinued spraying on October the 21st. So we on our lot violations, we have one outstanding one, which is Eagles Landing, and we're in contact with the 2 banks that own them now, and they're in the process of getting the contractor to cut that. I think that's was one of yours. You requested quite a while back, but they are working on it.
Thank you, Mr. Fairchild. Any questions or comments, Mr. Fairchild, on the monthly report? Ronnie, I want to thank you also. Notice the state has been working a lot on cleaning a lot of the state ditches. I give y'all big thanks for working with them and getting a lot of the roadside ditches clean.
Appreciate they finally getting to some of our requests. Yeah.
Yeah. Other questions, we'll move to agenda item number 5, road project status report. Ben?
Good evening. I'll start off with the staff update. We have hired Brian Martinez from the planning department, is now working as a project manager for us and helping us get everything organized and square away with our contracts and projects. Also today, Tim Ward, who is a PE, started as part of the engineering staff, and so those 2 additions will certainly help us get some of the workload under control that we have over there since the turnover that happened recently. Parish projects, West Worthy Road widening. The notice to proceed was issued for that on October 11th. That project is underway. Drainage improvements have been installed on the south side of West Worthy. The north side is now progressing, and that's where we are on that project. The anticipated conclusion of that is going to be in the second quarter of next year. Roddy Road widening. This is between LA 621 and LA 931. The pre-bid meeting, I'll skip on down to clearing and grubbing plans. The bid opening date was October 19th. As part of that, there's one property that is in foreclosure. The parish has not acquired that. That part has been staked out to be excluded from the clearing and grubbing activities that are going to get underway shortly. That project also involves a relocation of the city water well fencing right there next to the school. That project, we're awaiting the execution of the contract. The relocation of the school fence is still being coordinated with the school board, and the plans have not been prepared for that. The clearing and grubbing contract was awarded on November 4th to SRS Services out of Mobile. We had the pre-construction meeting today, and the notice to proceed for that will be January 3rd. There's still a portion of that project that we're acquiring right away for. That's the St. Mark's and Burke property just south of 621, and that's to tie in the drainage from the improvements to the north of 621 to the existing drainage improvements. The overlay projects, the 2010 maintenance projects, both those contracts have received substantial completion. The 2004 intersection improvement program, this is intersection improvements at LA 621 and Airline and LA 929 and Airline. The plans have been prepared. I have not had a chance to approve those plans, and then the next step will be to prepare contract documents and then put that out for bid. And I anticipate that happening early next year. The LA 932, LA 933 intersection improvements project, the negotiations are continuing. There's one parcel that right-of-way acquisition has not been completed on. Parker at 929 Roundabout, 30% plans currently in review at DOTD, and this is this project's another agenda item that we'll discuss further in a few minutes. Church Point at Roddy Roundabout, the feasibility study is the next step on that. I have a proposal for that feasibility study, but have not issued a notice to proceed on that project. The 2011 maintenance project, the road list was approved on November 4th by the council. Design is underway. Anticipate completion of the design package by the end of January. And there is an item we need to add the St. Landry Road to that road list for maintenance. The St. Landry extension, sorry.
Okay.
Quick update on the state projects, and I don't have a terribly lot amount of information on these, but I'll run through them real quick. The LA 431 roundabout and intersection improvements, design is underway. The plan and hand meeting was held at the District 61 headquarters, at the local DOTD headquarters on December 7th. LA 73 widening from I-10 to Airline Highway. The last I've heard on that was the letting was going to be pushed back to June 2011. They're still in the right-of-way acquisition process on that project. And then the following projects have been bid or they're under construction or will be construction in the next couple of months. LA 73 mill and overlay from Bayou Manchac to Airline Highway. I don't have an update on that. LA 44 sidewalk project. This is from Airline to LA 621 on the east side of the roadway. That project is in progress and on schedule. And that's funded by a state grant. The LA 42 Amite River Relief Bridge. This is in the feasibility study stage. LA 22 at Airline westbound left turn lane. That project is in progress. And LA 932 mill and overlay. The construction is complete on that, so that is now in the process of being transferred to the parish.
Any questions or comments, Ben?
Yeah,
Councilmember?
Ben, what's the extension on St. Landry? It's been a parish road and it was gravel and we are asphalting it, or what's the deal with that?
It's asphalt and it's tore up to pieces. It's got.
It's an extension or
Yeah,
a
it's extension that goes back past the last gate at Lamar Dixon.
Oh, okay.
It's got hills like this.
They come up with a cost for that?
Not yet.
Okay.
They're gonna come up and let us know what it's gonna be.
Okay. One other thing, maybe Ronnie, on Cannon Road, I see we're kind of moving forward a little bit. When we do this project, are we gonna do it in-house or it's gonna be contracted? The work itself? I know we're doing the engineering, Ben.
Yeah, the plan was to do the engineering design work in-house.
And as far as the actual work?
That hasn't been determined.
Okay. The reason I asked, I have a couple of people on that road that, one for sure that has several lots, and it's got open ditches, and he's willing to buy the covers if we install it, if we're doing it. So we get rid of a few ditches while we're doing this project, so I might want to keep that in mind, Mr. Glenn Gotro.
Got some work going on that now. I think it's a gas company, cable company, something's going on.
Yeah. But he has two lots, I believe, with open ditches, so, you know, we have done it on some projects before if we did them in-house. That's why I'm asking if we're going to do it in-house.
We just have to be careful how much we close in,
Yeah,
the EQ.
right. Well, I don't think any trunk lines would hit this because it's open lots. It's not any trunk lines that would actually hit these covers. And it would close up some of these dangerous ditches that we have on this road. So keep that in mind if possible, you know. And I can give you the contact name to look for. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Mr.
Chairman, do we need a motion for the St. Landry Road extension?
Let's
I
add
think
it. Let's add it for the, road project status update, under Ben's report, and go ahead and make the motion so we can add it.
I'll make that motion to add it to the
I'll second.
report.
Motion by Councilman Bell, second by Councilman Todd Lambert. Discussion? Parish President? No. If none, motion passed. Parish President?
Ben, I'd like at the next meeting, maybe give us an update on Highway 73 progress. Somebody's saying that they're gonna be letting it, in the spring. I'm not quite sure if that's true. We also need to find out if we can get a number on that sewer project. We need a concrete number. They should have something, that we can go by now, so we'll kind of know where we're headed and what direction we're going in. So if you could do that, I'd certainly appreciate it. And also on the Joseph Area Road, I know that the state's pretty much finished all the improvements. You need to get a report on when the switch would take place, and if we've been talking to the state, so we can
Final inspection.
finalize all that and do the final inspection. So that's a couple of things. Hopefully we can get back to you in January.
Good deal.
Ben, while you still have it, you and the past president want to talk about the toll road?
Yeah, it's a concept that we've looked at. Actually, it started when we were, last time I was in office, that, you know, it was a feasible project then. What we want to do is, we're going to have to get the first seed money. We're going to meet with the congressional delegation, state delegation, to do the EIS. Once to do the environmental impact study, from there the private company will take over. On the parish's part, we need to form an authority, the Ascension Livingston Parkway Authority. And on the 42 issue, I don't know if I've gotten a few calls on 933, but when it comes off onto 42, you'll only be able to get on and off on 42. You won't. It's not going to go straight over to 933 and create a traffic. We don't need that at that point. So I want the residents to understand that, and that's going to be the way we're going to ask this thing to be designed. So again, at the future meeting, I'm going to come to the council meeting if it's okay with this committee, and we need to do a joint venture with Livingston Parish, a cooperative endeavor agreement to create the Parkway Authority. I don't want to say toll authority, but and it's about a 2-mile stretch. Should not, and according to the maps we see, should not impact anyone's house.
Okay.
Should be a straight shot through. It's about a 2-mile deal, but it cuts off a lot of traffic there, and hopefully it shows that it's feasible. It'll pay for itself. Any excess monies that come from it, on the Ascension side, we can help improve 42, and then on Livingston side, I'm sure they can use it on 16 and 447. So, you know, in the agreement that we make with them, that's kind of the way we'd like to see it done. The parish shouldn't be out any money on this, and then this is something that if you want to go on it, you can. It's something that's going to be your choice. You can still go the same way. Nobody's going to mandate that anybody uses this road. If you want to save time, you get on it. If you want to go to a traditional route, you can certainly do so. But Todd, as you know, if you get on 431 in the afternoons, it's a nightmare. And I'm sure coming the other way in the mornings from Livingston, it's a nightmare. And we need to alleviate some of that because it backs up all the way to 2 rows sometimes, and maybe further than that. And it's just a slow thing the way, and hopefully the roundabout helps some of that. But it's still not going to be the answer, I can assure you.
So the independent company's going to take care of all right of ways
They're
and
going to take everything.
So
Once we do the EIS and they actually do a route, it's going to be out of our hands. It's not going to cost the parish or either parish a penny.
You need a motion to bring this to the council?
Well,
I know it's not on the agenda, but
it's not on the agenda. I mean, we can do it in the first of the year. It's
Okay.
not in a big
Okay.
Rush, I'm gonna get with Mike Grimm and we'll draft,
Draft a
something
little
and bring it
resolution or
to,
something
to
or
the
whatever.
council
Okay.
at the finance committee meeting, if that's
Sounds
okay.
good.
Appreciate the hard work on that. Ben, you had anything else on your report? All right, we'll move into number 6, Parker Road, Highway 929 roundabout. Ben, you want to go ahead with this?
Yes, this is a project that's been around for a little while. The project, and the reason I'm bringing this before you guys is that the project had budgeted for 2011 design fees 20,000 and for survey work 65,000, so a total of 85 for professional services. The proposal for completing the design plans came in, and it is going to be 23,000 more than that, not including the survey cost. Additionally, the construction cost estimate has increased approximately 365,000. So the total increased in cost, and 500,000 of this is grant money from the state for constructing this. So that would cover 500,000 of construction costs. So the net increased cost to the parish per these latest the latest proposal and cost estimates is approximately 380,000. And Bruchart Horn is the engineering company providing these services, and they Jacob Lusky is here to kind of discuss that a little further, to kind of answer some of the questions you might have on what the cost increase include and where we're going with this.
Come on, Jacob.
Thank you, Ben. Good evening, Councilman. Jacob Lusky from Bruchart Horn. Here today to ask for you guys' support with the roundabout design. Ben did mention that the estimate from the grant was $500K state dollars. The construction cost at that time with the feasibility study was roughly $650-ish, and with that, it's very conceptual. From then, that was basically to see if we can avoid the pipeline issues and get the pipeline buy-in, being Marathon and Shell. After 3 months or 2 months, it says, of bird dogging it and chasing after the Shell pipeline and getting their authority to get involved and get approved, we came up with the idea that, hey, let's go to 30% design since the pipeline said okay. They needed to see a set of plans, and let's not go the whole design route in order to cancel the design, or they would kill it. To relocate or do anything with the pipelines, it would have been 1.7 million to relocate or to encase additional footage of their pipelines. So what we did was we laid it out, the roundabout at the intersection. We had a public meeting for the residents in the area, and we laid it out according to the EDSM, which is the DOTD guidelines and standards, also abide by the FHWA. With that, we came up with the standards and addressed DOTD with it, and also at that time, Jackie, chief engineer. And it was encroachments on the pipelines. However, they approved it, and also with the with some of the residential structures in the area. So with that, we went to DOTD with a redesign. So we redesigned it with the design exceptions for DOTD, and working with DOTD, it's Hadi Shirazi and Mr. Rick Holm, who's handling the LTAP funds. With that, we got the design exceptions approved by Chief Engineer Richard Savoy. So he signed off saying that the 30% plans are good and is currently in geometric review at this time. So they are reviewing, and they're going to give us back comments to proceed with the final design should this project go forward. And right now, that's where we're at. And you can see I put together a package for you guys. Mr. Ben Laurie and I also had meetings with DOTD and went through and looked at what else was needed as far as striping and signage, and any changes to the geometrics they may have would cause it to be redesigned. However, the constraints of the pipelines and the current vents that are out there and the residential homes in the area, were, we tightened it up as much as possible, and we got it approved. So it's been a long fight to get this far, and so I'm asking for you guys' support. Any questions, I'll be free to answer. Be happy to answer.
Parish President?
Have we approached, since the cost went up, DOTD about the possibility of getting more funding from them?
We have not approached DOTD for additional funds and see if they would come out with any.
Well, we can do that. I'd like to get a resolution asking, since we got a cost now that from the committee to send to DOTD, and Mr. Richard Savoy, the chief engineer. I'll be glad to call him. I know him well. And we also, I guess, when is this project going to be scheduled to start, actually? Construction, if we did the engineering, how long would the engineering take?
According to our meeting, and this is, the idea was to, I'm gonna say summertime, construction.
Construction.
In order to begin construction during summertime, which would be, the roads would be closed at this intersection for cheaper construction costs. All construction would take place in 30 days is what DOTD and our conversation went. In order to get this done,
Before the school starts?
you want to have it, construction take place during the summer period.
Okay. So, and how long is the construction, you saying?
30 days.
30
20 to
days.
30 days, depending on the contractor. It would be set forth in the specs that
I
they would
guess
have to.
my next question is, Ben, did we put, when we said it was going to cost $150,000 more, did we put $150,000 toward this project in the budget last year or this year? Or did we all we ever put was the $500,000? Did we put any parish money into the budget for this project?
We have professional services budget into the budget of 85,000 total,
How much?
and 85,000,
Under 100.
and we have 300,000 for right-of-way acquisition.
So it's $385,000. How much the right-of-way acquisition y'all estimate?
Well, surveying services would have to take and do that boundary survey from apparent fence lines and takings. It would be really rough. This answer's really rough on the record.
Yeah, but give me an estimate.
I talked to DOTD today, and I put a number of 100K per acre as a unit cost, and the taking would be less than 0.75 acres from
So you might have
from roughly 5 different parcels.
You'd have 275,000, 225,000 extra there, possibly.
That's accurate.
So,
That's what I'm calculating, about 230 would be additional from what, if we looked at the 150 plus the 500.
so it'd be cost us about 150,000.
Well, actually
Yes.
230 extra plus the 150.
Well, but
that's
they
on
got the
books.
surveying also.
Yeah.
So,
And
But the big question when we first brought this up, and it was, it was almost kicked out right away when the pipeline got involved in it. And I think they want to research it more, chop it down, see if they can redesign it and come back to us and try to stay in within that range. But we're looking at, $250,000 more to do this project. And one question too is, I don't see anything with lighting. Are y'all planning on putting lighting on this particular?
Yes,
That's
sir.
gonna be an extra.
Yes, sir. The last, it's according, you have to do it according to the standards and guidelines set forth. It's the last bid item.
Okay, lighting.
And
But
that,
then we pay a monthly fee
It would
along
have
with this.
yes, sir. A resolution would have to be passed that the parish would accept, just as, I think, 431.
How-
You know,
how
I'm,
much-
yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm just concerned, we did a lot of cutting on the road project this year, because of the funding, and now we got one project that's, this here is probably 2 or 3 little roads that we, actually maintenance, that we're not gonna be able to do. And I'm just wondering where we're gonna grab this from the budget, because we stretched our budget pretty thin with our road project that we have coming up with the widenings and a few other ones that we have. Budget-wise, what are we looking like for us grabbing another $250,000 for just this roundabout at this time, I guess, is what my question is.
well, maybe we could come back to the next transportation meeting and maybe give you a better estimate
That would be
that we can look at, and then give you an answer, and then maybe we can make a decision at
I know
that
we
point.
dropped off a bunch of roads off our list because,
Well, it's more because of 73, because
Yeah.
that was supposed to be $2.5 million. Now it went to $4.5 million.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking Ben to give me
that's what I'm saying, we stretched pretty thin with our funding for the road project, and,
if 73 comes in like a
Unknown at
million
5,
below,
yeah.
then you might have some room to
Play with.
to play with. So again, let us look at that. Maybe we'll have the answer on 73. Maybe we'll have some other answers that we can come with and
That
give
sounds
you
good.
an estimate.
Appreciate that. That'd be good for me.
All right.
Come back at the next meeting with it.
Can I add, the one other wrinkle on this project is in order to meet the summer construction window, you know, we have a very aggressive schedule kind of laid out that wouldn't, I'm not sure that if we started a month from now, that window would be able to be met.
Well, as soon as y'all can get the information to us, we could have a special meeting if we have to. You know, as far as the information that Tommy's asking for, and we can,
The
have a
other
special
thing
meeting,
is,
move it to the first agenda item in January.
and if the 500,000 is good, you know, and can be carried over,
Right.
you know, it may be that we have to do it next summer. I mean, things are, with
Yeah.
budget cuts and everything else the way they are,
That's right.
you know, we may have to delay this a little bit,
gotta
if
check
the
all
money
them
will
numbers.
carry over. So, I mean, that's another question that we need to
Okay.
look at, but we may be able to find the money.
Let's, for the safety of the project, let's just wait. If you don't mind, Jacob, please stay with Ben on this and you know, continue on, and let's get some concrete numbers.
Okay.
So we can present it as soon as possible.
Okay, well,
I'm good with that.
I would add that we can't get a concrete finite number in right-of-way costs and acquisition until the boundary survey is completed.
So that's unknown too right now. That could
Right.
vary somewhat.
That's accurate. Roughly 30. Yes. That's all right-of-way maps, and that's takings and abstracts and whatnot.
Okay, we need a motion to move it to next
Let's
month's
do
meeting.
that, and that way it'll be on here.
Okay. I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by
Move it to
Councilman
next-
Todd Lambert,
So we
second by Councilman Bell, to have Parker Road roundabout on the January transportation meeting. And if we need to
Bring it to
bring
finance.
it to finance, we can do that also.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you, Mr. Jacob. Any other discussion? None, motion passed. Number 7, no parking signs for Billy Decatur Road. Councilman Todd Lambert.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had some individuals on Mr. Billy Decatur Road call me with issues with parking, and I think administration may have the individual brought the petition to DPW. Ronnie, and it's in the package, and I guess I'd like an opinion from DPW after looking at all the petitions, and percentage-wise, this is feasible to put that, or say feasible, or
Yes, sir.
recommended.
I visited, and, you know, they signed, there's 10 residents, 9 of them signed it, so they went through the proper procedure.
So I make a recommendation to go ahead with the no parking signs on Billy Decatur Road.
Moved by Councilman Todd Lambert, second by Councilman Bell. Discussion? None, motion passed.
Motion adjourned, Mr.
Motion
Chairman.
adjourned by Councilman Todd
That
Lambert,
will be
second by
next summer.
Councilman Bell. Adjourned. Thank you.